Hi, I'm Dr. Pompa, and you know me as someone who's always brewing up controversy. Well, today I have more controversy than ever. What better thing to brew up than coffee as a health food? That is controversial. Look, probably the number one question I get all the time in all seriousness is the fact that, Dr. Pompa, can I still drink my coffee on the cellular healing diet? And Dr. Pompa, do you drink coffee? Well, the answer to that question is yes and yes. I believe that your coffee could be one of the healthiest things you consume, but I also believe you can actually make something very healthy, very unhealthy. So today, in this article and this video, you're going to learn how to make your coffee a health food. So I'm giving you 5 tips to what I believe if you follow, your coffee will become a health food. If you violate these 5 tips, I believe you can make something bad. Well, look, if we look at the studies on coffee, it has major health benefits from what? Well, one of the areas is antioxidants. Do you realize that coffee actually is the #1 consumed antioxidant on the planet? And we know that the antioxidants in coffee are linked to prevention of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, strokes, Parkinson's, and other neurodegenerative conditions. As a matter of fact, out of the Harvard School of Public Health, there was a study that showed that 115 milligrams of caffeine a day from coffee. Now look, we think of the caffeine as the bad part, but it was actually in this study the caffeine that they said actually cut your risk of Parkinson's in half. Now granted, if you overconsume the caffeine, it can be a good thing, can become bad, and we're going to talk about that. But 150 milligrams of caffeine a day, that's about a cup of coffee, cut your risk of Parkinson's in half. Other studies showed that if you have Parkinson's, you are 4 to 8 times less likely to be a coffee drinker. So think about that. Coffee plays a role, #1, because yes, it's strong in antioxidants, but even the caffeine. Look, there's many studies that show the benefits of moderate amounts of caffeine, whether it's strokes, heart disease, and other conditions, even diabetes. Matter of fact, make sure you read the article below, because I cite my source and read some of the other benefits of the caffeine as well, and the antioxidants. But look, let's talk about #1. If we go to tip #1, why should you drink organic coffee? Well, look, if you don't drink organic coffee, you're making something potentially healthy unhealthy, because conventional beans are loaded with pesticides and herbicides, which we know cause disease. Matter of fact, ironically enough, when you look at Parkinson's studies, we know there's a connection with pesticides and herbicides. So obviously obviously coffee being loaded with these chemicals could become very dangerous and bad. You have to have the organic coffee. Look at #2, shade-grown coffee. Well, shade-grown coffee, what does that mean and why is it healthier? Well, actually, studies show that shade-grown coffee is actually less acidic by half than conventional coffee. So shade-grown actually takes one of the negatives to coffee out by reducing the acidity. See, look, when you're drinking a lot of coffee in the day, the over-acidity can drive cellular inflammation, which causes different problems and disease. It can also cause stomach problems. It can also even cause some inflammation of the colon. So by dropping the acidity, we're making something even more healthy. So now look at the third one. This may surprise you. There's a type of coffee that I'm a strong believer in because of the same reason. Arabica is a type of coffee that is very rare. Most people are drinking the other. The Robusta is what most companies are using as fillers in their coffee and what most conventional coffee is. But this type of coffee is really, it's lower in acidity and also higher in antioxidants. Matter of fact, my wife and I consume something called 1% of this type of coffee. And the reason why it's 1% is because they take the best of the best bean. So again, in this article below, I actually tell you the coffee that my wife and I actually drink every day, because these types of coffees admittedly are harder to find, even obviously than organic. But let's get to the fourth one, because I think we actually have some shocking information here. Because I'm telling you, when you consume your coffee, to actually, God forbid, don't use creamers that are loaded with chemicals and artificial sweeteners like aspartame, corn syrup, and all kinds of other different hydrogenated fats, which makes something really potentially good really unhealthy. Those creamers are horrible. Just read the ingredients yourself. But what I'm telling you is to take whole, real, grass-fed cream or butter and add, yes, more fat to your coffee. Why? 2 reasons. #1, it protects the antioxidants in the coffee. And #2, it protects you. See, because I believe, and if you watch some of my other videos, I'm a firm believer in fat. And fat is the missing nutrient in the American diet, especially the fats that cream and real butter bring. Matter of fact, saturated fats and cholesterol have really been looked at as something negative, when really I believe they're some of the two most missing fats in the American diet that really help prevent disease. And I know you're going to have to watch a lot of my other videos and read some of my stuff to realize, because you've been taught that these fats are so bad. And I'm telling you that these fats actually prevent disease. It's not my opinion, it is in the studies. But look, by adding cream and real butter to your coffee, you're making it even more healthier. Another reason is it helps actually control blood sugar levels, and studies prove that. So use the real deal. Our ancestors, our grandfather and grandma, they used the real stuff. Don't put skim milk in your coffee. Use the real stuff and make it grass-fed and make it organic. And I'll tell you what, you're going to take your coffee to the next level in healthiness. You know what? And it tastes better too, I guarantee that. Now look, I said do not over-consume is the last tip coffee. I like to give the analogy of wine. Look at all the studies on wine, all the antioxidants, the benefits, why the French live longer, because they're consuming wine. Can you drink too much wine and make something healthy unhealthy? Of course. Can you drink too much coffee and make something potentially healthy unhealthy? Of course. Because look, by consuming too much caffeine, now you're not getting those benefits any longer. Now you're revving up your endocrine system, and you're having a negative effect on your adrenal glands, potentially even your thyroid. So people consuming coffee after coffee all day long, don't use me as your source to say this is good for me. What I'm saying is, 1 or 2 cups a day, no problem. I have 1 cup almost every day, and I do it exactly with these 5 tips. So I practice what I preach, no doubt. But I definitely don't overconsume. If you need coffee at the end of your day, there's probably something else going wrong at the cellular level. You shouldn't need coffee. I love the warmth of coffee in the morning. I believe it's very healthy when done correct. But do not overconsume, same as wine. Don't overconsume, please. But look, the bottom line is I hope this ends the coffee controversy. And I'm brewing up probably more controversy even by doing this video. But I believe in my heart, and when you read the studies, coffee is a health food. And there's so many natural practitioners I know probably disagree with me, but I believe the studies back what I'm telling you. So yes, you can use coffee on the cellular healing diet. And yes, Dr. Pompa does absolutely consume coffee as a health food with these 5 tips. Use these 5 tips, make your coffee a health food, tell your friends, and pass the video on, because I know they'll thank you for it.